Hello, good morning. Yes, I know a lot of you are preparing for your IELTS exam, and I just want to tell you what is pronunciation and accent. So for the IELTS exam, you need to have good pronunciation, and that has very little to do with your accent. So you try to learn and achieve good pronunciation. You do not need to achieve any particular accent, not the British accent and not the American accent or any other accent. You will have your own accent, which is completely fine. So you just have to learn the pronunciation, and that's fine. I'll introduce myself. I'm Dr. Chris Ho from Australia, and I'm your English language coach and in preparation for the IELTS exam that you might be doing soon. So in terms of pronunciation, you have to be learning new sounds that are in English that are not in your native language. And further to that, you have to learn the features associated with the pronunciation and the sentence speaking. So in terms of that, you need to be able to not only pronounce the words accurately, but also to be able to word stress and to have a rhythm to your words and sentences. So I would suggest that pronunciation includes word stress, correct word stress, and the correct rhythm. Otherwise, the pronunciation would not be perfect or accurate at all. For example, let me give you one example, pronunciation. So you have to say pronunciation. So there is the word stress, the correct enunciation of the sounds, but also the word stress where the sounds, which sound is stressed within the one word, and also the rhythm of even just the word. So you said pronunciation. So the nun is the word stress, and also the pronunciation, the correct pronunciation is not a pronunciation, it is pronunciation. It is spelled differently as well. And then the rhythm of the word is pronunciation. Pronunciation. Ciation. So that's quicker. Pronunciation. So when you say quickly, it's pronunciation. Pro is softer. Nun is the loudest, the word stress, the sound stress, and ciation at the end is quick. Ciation. So when you practice, you have to be slow, and that's all right. And then when you're ready with every single enunciation of the sound, you can then smoothly increase the speed into the normal speed. Pronunciation. So you can see that nun is also longer. So there are a few features there that you have to be alert to and that you have to be aware to. So in this lesson, we will examine 10 words, 10 particular words, and focus on that. So first, I will go through the pronunciation, which will include the word stress, the syllable stress, the sound stress within the word, and then also address the rhythm of the word. And in this case, you will then be able to pronounce the word accurately. Then, the important thing about vocabulary is not to know each word on its own. After that, we will go through a short passage that utilizes these words in its context. So not only do you have to know the meaning of the word, but to be able to understand it within the context of what is being said. So we'll go through that. But depending on your level of English at this stage, you might find that even just learning the pronunciation is a lesson by itself. In this case, that's all right. So you just go through the pronunciation, learn that, master that, and then go through the next section will be the use of the words within the context of a story, of a passage, with its meaning. Then I will go through the meaning of the word, and particularly the word, and I will also give you the word in several contexts. So the one word, I'll give you several example sentences which will demonstrate the use of that one word in several contexts. So the word that we use first, obviously in the passage, is obviously within one context. But a word, any word, as you know, in your own native language, can also be used in several contexts, and they have slightly different meaning. So not only do you need to know the word, the meaning of the word, you have to know it within several contexts. So in short, how to use the word, not just in one context, but in several contexts. In this way, then you are really understanding the word. Okay, so we'll do that just now. Okay, so today we'll go through 10 words. And first, I will pronounce these words, and we will closely look at the word stress of each of these words. So I'll just say those words out first. You try and listen. Next, I will show you the particular part of the word that is stressed in the text. So you have address, impact, association, deregulate, ballot, polite, contrary, inventory, plausible, and optimistic. So here are the words with the capitalized stressed portion. Okay, so you see, it's address. Okay, this is a verb, address. So if you stress it differently, address, that is a noun. I live in this address. When address is a verb, I'm addressing someone. I address. Okay, so even the word stress in different parts of the word will change the meaning of the word. Impact. So the P is a strong one. You should sort of get a feel that it's impact. Address. So those sounds are the strong sounds. And then we talked about pronunciation. Here we have association. So we get association. So the rhythm as well. Association. Deregulate. Ballot. Polite. Contrary. Inventory. Plausible. Optimistic. So there you are. So there are these 10 words. You can practice them. Address slowly first, and then get it into your mind. Listen to the sound. So I want you to not memorize where the stress is, but listen to the sound so that you get the memory from listening rather than from looking at the text. So address, impact, association, deregulate, ballot, polite, contrary, inventory, plausible, optimistic. So you will know some of the meaning, but I won't explain the meaning just yet. Just mainly practicing to practice how to say the words correctly and accurately. So now we talk about the rhythm of the word. Address. So you got address, so it's fast. Address is not address, it's address. So the stress plus the rhythm, address, okay? And then this one is the opposite. So you can say impact. So the im is longer. Impact. The im is longer, and it is stressed and it's longer. So that's the rhythm and the word stress. Then we have association. So association. So association. So just now we say pronunciation. Ciation is one beat. Ciation. Association. Okay. Deregulate. So it's the same as deregulation. So deregulate. So D is soft. Deregulate. So reg is the loudest, and it's one beat. Regulate and deregulate. Okay, so we have ballot. So this is the same. When you have a stressed sound in the beginning, it is ballot. The second sound is short, so it's ballot, not ballot. It's ballot. And this one's the opposite, as we said earlier. Polite. So the light is louder and longer. And the next one is contrary. So con is stressed and longer, Contrary is softer and quicker. Contrary, and the same here, inventory. So there's two sounds here. That's the American pronunciation. I think I may have sometimes said the English pronunciation. Inventory, inventory, inventory. So depending on which accent you are, it doesn't matter. So this is inventory. Inventory is American. So you might like the American more. You listen to the American more because there are more American movies and American television is dominating the world. Okay, and the next one is the same. Plausible. Plausible. So plau is loud and long, and you can hear the rhythm now. So you're getting used to the rhythm. So you need to practice it, not just listen to it, but practicing, and that's the most important. That you spend time to practice it and practice it until you're fluent. Slowly in the beginning, and then quicker once you're getting more familiar. Once your mouth, your muscles, your tongue, your lips are able to make the sound spontaneously and in a reflex, automatic manner. So optimistic. So op is also medium loud, but miss is the most stressed. Optimistic. Optimistic. So T-mistic. T-mistic. Optimistic. So you can see the sound optimistic. So the T-mistic is one beat, but in this one it's not the first beat, the first sound that's loudest. It's the middle sound, optimistic. So just practice it so that the word, the sound, the meaning is in your memory. Okay, so do this first, and then we'll go to the passage next. Okay, now I'm going to read you the passage that contains those words that we've just spoken about. So this is the passage, and you can listen to it. I will stress those words, but of course there are other words in the passage that will also have their own word stress areas. Okay, here we go. During the election, the candidates presented their plans to address pressing issues, highlighting how their efforts could positively impact society. One candidate emphasized the importance of an association dedicated to improving public health, while another mentioned the need to deregulate certain industries to foster growth. Voters were handed a ballot to make their choices, and the results would determine the future course of the action. The debate was intense, but both candidates remained polite and well-mannered despite their contrary opinions. The public eagerly awaited the inventory of votes to see who had won. The process, although sometimes deliberate, was plausible and ensured fairness. Ultimately, the atmosphere remained optimistic as people hoped for a positive change. So you'll realize that I read some of the words with, like, for example, deregulate. I read it as deregulate, so I wanted to emphasize D. So this word stress phenomenon is not a rule, it's the principles. So in general, it's flexible, but for your initial learning, it's best to just learn a particular way, and then when you're used to it, then you can break the rules and adjust your word stress in certain situations to emphasize certain aspects of what you're trying to say. So here, one candidate emphasized the importance of an association dedicated to the improving public health, while another mentioned the need to deregulate certain industries to foster growth. Okay, so I'll read it again slowly, and perhaps you can shadow me, practice your own word stress. And I'll read it a little bit slower. During the election, the candidates presented their plans to address pressing issues, highlighting how their efforts could positively impact society. One candidate emphasized the importance of an association dedicated to improving public health, while another mentioned the need to deregulate certain industries to foster growth. Voters were handed a ballot to make their choices, and the results would determine the future course of action. The debate was intense, but both candidates remained polite and well-mannered despite their contrary opinions. The public eagerly awaited the inventory of votes to see who had won. The process, although sometimes deliberate, was plausible and ensured fairness. Ultimately, the atmosphere remained optimistic as people hoped for a positive change. Okay, as I said, I will now explain the individual words, but as well as that, I will give you two further example sentences of each of these words, which briefly expands the use of the words in different contexts. So the first one is address. So as I said, address is a verb, to address something, to deal with something, or focus on a problem or issue. So look back on the passage and reread it and look at how it was used in that passage. But here are two other examples. So we need to address the environmental issues before they become irreversible. So address here obviously is to deal with. So the issue or the problem that we are addressing or dealing with or focusing on is the environmental issues like climate change and things like that, before the issues, the problem becomes irreversible, before it becomes unchangeable, or it cannot be reversed again. Okay, so now here's a more topical one. The teacher decided to address the students' concerns during the meeting. So what is the teacher addressing? The students' concerns. So the students have problems, so the teacher will be addressing it. The teacher will be focusing on it. The teacher will be trying to solve it and deal with it. Okay, so the next one is impact. Impact. So it's what's the effect or the influence of something that has a situation or a person. So social media has a significant impact on the younger generation. So social media has a significant influence on the younger generation. So it causes the younger generation something. Next, the company analyzed how the new policy would impact its operations. So the company is checking how this new policy that they have written or they are going to implement would affect, would influence, would change, would impact its operation. Number 3, association. Association. It's a group of people organized for a common purpose or activity. So in this situation, we're using it as a group of people. The Association of Teachers organized a workshop to modern teaching methods. So this association is a group of people, and the group of people are the teachers. So the association of teachers, the association of doctors, the association of students. That's sort of association. So it's a noun, okay? He has been a member of the Sports Association for 5 years. So the Sports Association is a group, and he has been a member of. So the Sports Association is made up of many members. He is one of them. Sports Association. The other meaning of association, with which you may have come across, which you will come across, when you do come across, it will be a different context. It means my relationship, my contact. I'm associated. He's my boss. I am the employee. We are associated in that manner. So we are connected. We have an association because of that. So next is deregulate. As I said, there's several ways to word stress this word. I can say deregulate. The government deregulated, or the government deregulated. So to remove the rules. So regulation is rules, regulate, to remove the rules or controls from an industry or business. So the government plans to deregulate the telecommunications industry to increase competition. So the government is trying to remove some restrictions, some rules that has been slowing down the industry. So the deregulation or the deregulation is to help reverse that, to increase the competition. Okay, however, some people argue that to deregulate or to deregulate the energy sector could lead to lower prices. So doing what? Deregulating. So deregulating this could do something. So doing this could lead to something else, which is in this case, deregulating the energy sector could lead to lower prices. Okay, ballot. So this is a process of voting in a democratic country. It's a voting process. So the ballot is typically a piece of paper, or sometimes now they use an electronic system now. So it's a piece of voting. So in the past, it's a ballot paper. So each citizen received a ballot to cast their vote. So when they go to the voting station, they receive a ballot, and they choose the person they are voting for, and then they hand in the ballot secretly into a box. So the ballot results showed overwhelming support for the new initiative. So in this vote, or in this ballot, they weren't voting for a person. They were choosing between doing this thing or doing that thing, to stay in the old or to move on to the new. So most people decided that overwhelming, so the majority, most people decided or chose or voted for, chose for the new initiative. So they chose to do something new. So the new initiative. Okay, polite, showing good manners or respect towards others. So she was polite enough to hold the door open for the elderly man. She was polite. So the next sentence describes a situation. Even during arguments, he remained polite and respectful. So that's very good. So you remain polite and respectful. Contrary is the opposite in nature, direction, or meaning. So on the contrary, I believe his ideas are innovative and practical. So someone said something on the opposite side of what most people say. I do believe him. I believe his ideas. So the next one is, his opinions are often contrary to those of the group. So his opinions are often different often not only different but opposite in nature. So in the reverse, contrary to those of the group. So he stands out as one of the few, one of them that do not generally toe the line, do not generally give the same opinion. So inventory. Inventory is just a list of items, how many things there are present in your storehouse. So inventory, the shop has lots of things in the storeroom, so they conducted an inventory to track all its products. So they want to know how much is being sold, how much is left, so that they can purchase more of the things that are popular, that they need to buy more to replace the products that have been sold. So the same in the next sentence, reviewing the inventory. So the manager of the shop ordered more stocks after they reviewed the inventory. After reviewing the inventory, after he conducted the inventory, so the two sentences are related. You conduct an inventory, and then you find out what you need, and then you order more stock. Plausible, believable, reasonable, appearing to be true. Her explanation seemed plausible to everyone, so everyone believed her. So what she said seems quite believable, quite reasonable, quite sensible. Yeah, feels true. So everyone believed her because it's plausible. It could happen. It seems plausible. It is not plausible to finish such a huge project in one day. It is not possible, not reasonable, not believable. It is not plausible. It cannot be done. I don't think it's plausible. Optimistic. Some people would say optimistic rather than optimistic. So I'm very optimistic. So it's a difference between different accents, between different countries and different cultures. So optimistic is having a positive outlook, looking forward to things with a positive outlook, expecting good things to happen, good outcomes. So here is how you do the sentencing. Write the sentence. So despite the challenges, despite the problems, despite the difficulties, the team remained optimistic about the outcome. So they remained optimistic. They still believed that the outcome would be good, would be positive, even though there are problems and challenges that they are having. Okay, this describes the person. She has an optimistic attitude. Some people have a pessimistic attitude. Some people have an optimistic attitude. So sometimes we say optimistic. She has an optimistic attitude, but he has a pessimistic attitude. So because she has an optimistic attitude, she looks forward to the bright side of things, to the happy side of things, to the good side of things. If he is pessimistic, then he always look at the bad side of things, look at the things that he cannot do rather than what he can do. So here we are. So hopefully you have learned something. Some of the vocabulary will be new, some are old, but it's good to revise them and also to learn to use them in different contexts, so that when you're having your examination, oral examination, you can use it in the situation, the specific situation that you're talking about. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will continue to make more video to expand your vocabulary, to not only learn the vocabulary, but more importantly, to pronounce each of the word and to be able to use the word in different contexts and situation, making your vocabulary functional. And that's very important. So yeah, if you like the video and you have any suggestion on how you'd like me to conduct future videos, please let me know. Write it down in the comments, and also if you're looking forward, to new videos from this channel, yeah, do subscribe. Then it will be easier to locate the channel and look out for further videos in the same vein. So in addition to just vocabulary, obviously there will be other aspects of IELTS that you would know, but we'll focus on vocabulary on one aspect in each video and each set of playlist that I will be doing. Okay, happy studying. Be optimistic. Look forward, be positive, be optimistic.